Additional Director General of Police, CID, and Director General, Anti-Corruption Bureau, Additional Director General for Women's Safety Wing, Telangana government.
500 to 800 people on both sides, and they were all carrying those hunting sickles. I had to go right in the middle of this crowd. I would say, okay, both of you now go back, and this is the line here for you, and this is the line here for you. We are not going to cross this line. We all as officers go through phases of anger because you see so much injustice and you see the underbelly of society. Some of us, we deal with anger issues, we become cynical, and we very soon start losing faith in human beings.
కొంచెం ఇలా సాఫ్ట్గా నైస్గా ఎంపథెటిక్గా మాట్లాడితే దిస్ ఆఫీసర్ ఈజ్ వీక్.
Elections are coming, she can't handle it. By being soft where required and by being tough where required. I didn't know the kind of games which men usually play, and I felt I'm the problem. This is misogyny. Whenever I would go to meet some senior officer in that particular state, they would not look at me directly in the eyes. They would be looking here, they would be looking there. People really do not know how to treat senior women officers. Let's talk about misogyny. You will find many of them shying away. No, I have not faced misogyny in my life. Many of them don't accept it. Many of them would like to gloss over it. That when you see misogyny, start calling it out. It's time now.
When was the first time you called it out?
I started calling it out somewhere around 2012.
అంటే హాఫ్ కెరియర్ అయిపోయాక.
I would encourage girls to approach she teams or BHAROSA. I think girls should give up that fear, come forward, and if there is a problem, officers like us are already there. One good thing in Telangana is a lot of women officers. Navigating through the system as a single woman is a little more difficult. You have to handle your own fears, your own dejection by yourself. All these beliefs which society has about the role of a woman, I don't subscribe to it. Anything which holds you, limits you and binds you, please get rid of that.
ఇంత పవర్ఫుల్ స్ట్రాంగ్ ఆఫీసర్ ఎప్పుడైనా ఏడ్చిందా వైల్ ఆన్ డ్యూటీ? Hello, hi friends. Welcome to Prema the Journalist YouTube channel. Please do subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to get notifications to consume intriguing, impactful and inspiring content from my channel. ప్రతి ఏడాది నేను దసరా నవరాత్రుల టైంలో జయతి అని ఒక సిరీస్ చేస్తాను, సెలబ్రేటింగ్ విమెన్ పవర్. ఎవ్రీ టైం మనం మాట్లాడుకుంటూ ఉంటాం విమెన్ పవర్ గురించి. విమెన్ పవర్ అంటే ఏంటి? విమెన్ పవర్ అంటే పవర్ చూపించటం, డామినేట్ చేయటం, లేకపోతే ఈగో చూపించటం, ఇలాంటివి కావు. పవర్ అంటే పవర్ సంథింగ్ విచ్ ఇస్ ఇన్సైడ్, పవర్ సంథింగ్ దట్ కమ్స్ అవుట్ విత్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ గ్రేస్, డిగ్నిటీ అండ్ డెమినీర్. సో ఇలాంటివి ఎన్నో మనం మాట్లాడుకోవచ్చు. ఆ పవర్కి సంబంధించిన ఒక ఆస్పెక్ట్లో మనకు తెలుసు అమ్మవారి రూపాల గురించి. ఎన్నో రూపాలు ఉన్నాయి, స్త్రీ అంటేనే శక్తి స్వరూపిణి. సో ఈరోజు నేను మాట్లాడబోతున్న ఈ గెస్ట్ ఈజ్ చారు సిన్హా IPS. షీ ఈజ్ ద అడిషనల్ డైరెక్టర్ జనరల్ ఆఫ్ పోలీస్ ఫర్ CID and Director General for Anti-Corruption Bureau and Additional Director General for Women's Safety Wing, Telangana government. So let's talk to Charu Sinha on my channel, Prema the Journalist. Hi Charu.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad that I'm doing this with you. Like how you are the first women officer to be the IG for the CRPF.
Yeah.
Right? I'm the first journalist to do your interview.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
So I take a lot of pride.
Thank you. You convinced me into it.
Yes. Thank you, Charu. At a time when అసలు ఆడవాళ్ళు కొన్ని మేల్ డామినేటెడ్ ఫీల్డ్స్లోకి వెళ్ళటానికి భయపడే టైంలో ఆర్ జంకే టైంలో, ఫ్యామిలీస్ కూడా ఆపే టైంలో కొంతమంది అలా బయటకు వచ్చారు, దట్ ఓకే లెట్ మీ ప్రూవ్ మై సెల్ఫ్ అని. అండ్ దెర్ వాజ్ అ సపోర్ట్ సిస్టమ్ ఇన్ ద ఫ్యామిలీస్ ఆల్సో, అందుకని వాళ్ళు బయటకు వచ్చారు, లేకపోతే వచ్చేవాళ్ళు కాదు. మీ విషయానికి వస్తే 1990 కాలంలో యూ ఎంటర్డ్ ఇన్ టు ద సర్వీస్. ఇంట్లో వద్దనటము, లేకపోతే చుట్టుపక్కల వాళ్ళు వద్దంటము, సొసైటల్ ప్రెషర్స్, ఇలాంటివి ఏమన్నా మీరు ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అయ్యారా వెన్ యూ వాంటెడ్ టు గెట్ ఇన్ టు ద సర్వీస్?
లేదు, ఇలాంటివి ఏం లేదు. బికాస్ వీఆర్ 3 sisters in the family. I'm the oldest. So in our family, my parents always gave us that freedom that మీరు ఏం చేయాలి అనుకుంటే please go ahead and do that. So there was never any issue from the family at all. And at that time, if you remember, Prema, there was a serial called Udan, which was about a lady police officer who came from a very difficult background into the IPS. And for me, that was very, very inspiring. And that really made me think that maybe I can also do it. And one day when I was in 8th class and my father and I were having a conversation that what do you want to do in your career? And I kept telling him, I want to serve the country, I want to serve the country. So he said, yes, but for that there's the army, there's this. Then he said, oh, there's something called the civil services. And so at that moment in 8th class, I had decided that I'm going to go for the civil services. And all my subjects which I had chosen in my +2 or graduation or post-graduation were all keeping in mind that civil services is where I want to get into. So the journey was very single-pointed, single-focus, and that was the only thing. I had only one egg in one basket. I did not keep many eggs in the basket. I didn't have any backup option at all in case I did not succeed.
సరే, అమ్మ నాన్న సపోర్ట్ చేశారు, ఓకే. బట్ చుట్టుపక్కల నుంచి ఏమైనా ఉండిందా ఏదన్నా? అంటే ఎందుకు ఇప్పుడు అవసరమా
అప్పుడు
అమ్మాయికి? అంటే ఆ టైంలో ఏంటంటే అమ్మాయికి 25 ఏళ్ళు వచ్చేసరికి పెళ్లి చేయాలి ఫస్ట్. దట్ ఈస్ అ మేజర్ ఫోకస్ ఇన్ అవర్ సొసైటీ ఇన్ దోస్ డేస్. ఐఎమ్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ 90s. 90s ఇస్ వాట్ ఇట్ వాస్ లైక్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్. చదువు, గ్రాడ్యుయేషన్, తర్వాత ఓకే లెట్ హర్ గెట్ మ్యారీడ్ నౌ, గెట్ హర్ మ్యారీడ్. సో ఇది ఏమన్నా ఉండిందా? సొసైటల్ ప్రెషర్ ఏమన్నా ఉండిందా?
We were 6 of us friends who started studying together from my college, that is St. Francis, and their parents gave them an opportunity that meeru first chance or second chance tarvata if you don't make it then you have to get married. So all 5 of them dropped out over a period of time. I was the only one who made it. Thankfully, as I said, my parents gave me that space to go ahead and do what I wanted to do.
So generalగా again I'm coming to the same point. ఒక 30 years back, 40 years back విమెన్ సర్వీస్లోకి వచ్చినప్పుడు ట్రైనింగ్ ఈజ్ ద మోస్ట్ క్రూషియల్. ఆ ట్రైనింగ్లో అగైన్ యూ హ్యావ్ 80% మెన్ అండ్ అరౌండ్ 15 to 20%, నేను అనుకోవటం, నాకు తెలీదు, ఇంకా తక్కువ ఉండొచ్చు.
Among 90 of us in the batch, 13 of us were girls.
సో ఇట్ ఈస్ అ చాలా డిస్ప్రపోర్షనేట్ అది. అటువంటి ట్రైనింగ్ ఫేజ్ ఎలా ఉండింది చారు? వాజ్ ఇట్ వెరీ డిఫికల్ట్, ఛాలెంజింగ్? అండ్ ఆ టైంలో చాలామంది అమ్మాయిలు డ్రాప్ అయ్యే అవకాశాలు ఉంటాయి, ఎందుకంటే అంటే ఒక రకమైన ఇన్హిబిషన్స్ ఏర్పడే అవకాశం ఉంది. సో హౌ డిడ్ యూ డీల్ దాట్?
So most of us who get into the civil services, we are all bookworms, right? We are not very much into athletics or sports. So it was definitely very difficult. Especially I'll talk about myself for a person like me, because I was very good in adventure sports. So if you ask me to do rock climbing or horse riding, paragliding and all this I could do very easily. But if you ask me to do running so many kilometers every day, for me that was very, very difficult. So yes, training was very difficult, and every day we had to say a small prayer before we go through the day, because it was almost about I would say morning about 2.5 hours, evening about 2 hours of this physical exercise, etc. So it was definitely very difficult. And we all learned, but we were all together, 13 girls were together, so we would all encourage each other and take care of each other and motivate each other. The training atmosphere is very positive there at the National Police Academy. We would have wonderful instructors. Even if you're not able to do it, the instructor would kind of run with you, like, come on ma'am, you can do it, you can do it. So I'm very grateful to all my instructors, in fact, at the academy, who ensured that we made it through the training.
Okay, the first posting పులివెందుల. కడప జిల్లాలోకి వెళ్ళాలంటే ఆ రోజుల్లో ఒక భయం ఉండేది, అమ్మ ఈ జిల్లా నా బాబోయ్ ఎందుకు అని. నౌ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆల్ ఫ్రిజిల్డ్ అవుట్, బట్ ఇన్ దోస్ డేస్ ఇట్ వాస్
Very violent.
వెరీ వైలెంట్. ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ. వాట్ వాజ్ యువర్ స్టేట్ ఆఫ్ మైండ్?
So at that time when I went, because we were all in the learning phase, right? We were all learning our job, how to deal with every situation. So at that point of time, the only one thing which I understood and realized was that whatever parties are there in the area, the opposing parties, as long as you're very fair, open and transparent with all of them, there would never be any problem. And in fact, I remember one situation where there were two groups who were about to clash with each other. There were almost about 500 to 800 people on both sides, and they were all carrying those hunting sickles. And in those days, most of the crimes would be committed with a hunting sickle. So I remember I had hardly 5-6 people in the police station and one sub-inspector with me that day. And so I had to go right in the middle of this crowd. But they had so much faith and respect for me that I would say, okay, both of you now go back, and this is the line here for you, and this is the line here for you. We are not going to cross this line. And they did not. For the next 4 hours, I was alone with one sub-inspector and about 5 constables. We held back this crowd of about, almost 1,500 people away from attacking each other, only because they had that faith and trust in me that ma'am is saying, don't cross this line, so we won't cross this line. Okay. And 4 hours later, reinforcements came from Kadapa. And then, of course, the crowd dispersed. But when you're honest and straightforward, transparent and totally unbiased, I found that people always listen to you and have faith in you.
మీరు విమెన్ ఆఫీసర్ అని ఏమన్నా, అది కూడా ఒక రీజన్ ఉండిందా? అంటే వి షుడ్ బి లిటిల్ నైస్, పొలైట్, అలా చేయకూడదు,
లేదు
ఇట్ ఇస్ అ వుమెన్ కాబట్టి అని అలా ఉండిందా?
I don't think so. That was the case. Then they would have been very nice, very polite. But Rayalaseema is not like that. So it doesn't matter. The only thing which matters is how straightforward and unbiased you are. Yeah.
కానీ ఒక 2 వర్గాల మధ్య మీరు ఉంటూ ఇద్దరికి బ్యాలెన్స్ ఎలా చేయగలిగారు చారు? బికాస్ ఒక మనిషి, దే మైట్ థింక్ ఓకే షీ సపోర్టింగ్ దెమ్, the other party might think she's
by
supporting
talking
them.
to them openly in front of each other.
ఇద్దరిని కూర్చోబెట్టి మాట్లాడేవారు.
ఇద్దరిని కూర్చొని పెట్టి మాట్లాడుకోవడం అంటే, ఒక మనిషితో సెపరేట్ గా ఏం మాట్లాడుతున్నారు, తనకి దిస్ పర్సన్ షుడ్ నాట్ హ్యావ్ అ డౌట్, అండ్ సిమిలర్లీ వైస్ వర్సా, ఇద్దరిని కూర్చోపెట్టి ముఖాముఖిగా మాట్లాడుకోని ఇష్యూని సార్ట్ అవుట్ చేయడం, అండ్ ఆస్క్ బోత్ ఆఫ్ దెమ్ దట్ ఓకే దిస్ ఇస్ ద ఇష్యూ, నౌ యూ డిసైడ్ వాట్ ఇస్ టు బి డన్ ఇన్ దిస్ సిచ్యువేషన్. And they would always be reasonable. I have never found them to be unreasonable as such. Yeah.
ఎప్పుడైనా మీకు యాజ్ అన్ ఆఫీసర్ దేర్ ఒక హెడ్ ఆన్ కొల్యూషన్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్, లేకపోతే ఒక థ్రెటనింగ్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ అ సిచ్యువేషన్, అలాంటిది ఏమైనా ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్?
ఎప్పుడు లేదు. There was always tremendous respect. There was always tremendous respect. There was never a situation ఏ రాలేదు. It is how you deal with them.
Yeah.
And how you show to them that you don't have any stakes. We don't have any political stakes, right? So there's no reason for us to support one side against another side. When they see that you don't have any stakes, you're not affiliated to any particular party or any side, they will be very open with you.
Okay.
Yeah. And their sense of loyalty was tremendous.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
But within the service and within your officers, మీ మధ్యలో మీకు ఎప్పుడైనా ఒక డిస్క్రిమినేషన్ ఉండిందా? Just because you are a woman officer?
I won't say discrimination. What has been happening is, at the time when we got into service, there were fewer women at that point of time. So it's like we also had to be tried and tested whether we can actually handle these kind of situations or not. And each situation was new. Sometimes it would be a very bitter law and order situation. Sometimes it would be a faction rivalry, as in Pulivendala. So we also had to be tried and tested, and we also ourselves had to learn a lot.
Yeah.
So I won't say discrimination was there, but the moment the officers saw that yes, this girl can do it, then all of us got umpteen number of chances. And this is very unlike North India.
Avuna? Okay.
North India, I know that many of my batchmates didn't even get districts. I got one after the other a chance to head 5 districts as SP. So in North India, I remember one of my batchmates being told that you have just a 1-year-old child. Why don't you take care of your child for a few years first, and then we'll think about a district for you a little later.
Oh,
So that was
okay.
not the case in South. I find that South India is definitely much more accepting of women officers and women leaders, unlike certain states in the North.
ఓకే. సో ఇలాంటి ఒక ఛాలెంజింగ్ సిచ్యువేషన్స్ని హ్యాండిల్ చేయటం అన్నది అంటే అటువంటి ఆపరేషన్ ఇవ్వటానికి వాళ్ళు అంటే మీరు ఆడవాళ్ళు కాబట్టి అని భయపడేవారా, లేకపోతే ప్రొటెక్టివ్గా ఉండేవాళ్ళ, లేకపోతే నమ్మకం ఉండేది కాదా, ఏంటి ఏంటి వాట్ వాజ్ ద ప్రాబ్లమ్ ఇనిషియలీ? అంటే దే వర్ నాట్ కాన్ఫిడెంట్ అబౌట్ యువర్ స్కిల్స్ ఆర్ దే వర్ స్కేర్డ్ దట్ సంథింగ్ మైట్ హ్యాపెన్ టు యూ?
No, I think they were just watching. They were just seeing how we would handle different situations. At that time, it was not a question of them not being confident or disbelieving, because they don't know what we are. Even we didn't know what we were at that point of time. We had to check our own abilities and understand our own abilities.
Right.
So it's, it is a journey also in self-awareness. All these jobs are also journeys into understanding yourself better. So I think they were just watching, and the moment they saw that yes, so and so can handle the situation, immediately the opportunity would be given.
Wonderful. So what was your best moment when you were in Pulivendula?
This particular law and order incident. I mean, I was so touched by the fact that this group of 1,500 men were listening to me, and then the moment they would come a little close, then I would blow the whistle, and then all of them would separate again. And that was very sweet. Difficult, sweet, but I held the fort for 4 hours till senior officers came down, and then they all dispersed. It was difficult, but very touching.
నెక్స్ట్ బిగ్గెస్ట్ అండ్ వెరీ చెరిషింగ్ పోస్ట్ ఏంటి చారు?
I think it was a series of postings. Eluru, I was again ASP. I learned a lot about different kinds of frauds because of its proximity to Vijayawada.
Okay.
Different kinds of cheating which their people had gotten into the habit of committing and all. So that was again a very learning experience for me in terms of the variety of frauds. And then as SP, Prakasham was very challenging because I had just taken charge, and on the 20th day of my taking charge, 5 of my men were kidnapped by the Naxalites in the Markapuram forest area.
Okay.
Some constables and home guards. They had gone for a bandobast for a temple jatra, and they had been kidnapped by the Naxalites there. And so it was a 10-day ordeal. It started on Ugadi and it got over on Ram Navami. They were kidnapped, and usually the precedent till then was that whenever Naxalites kidnap any of the police constabulary, then they don't come back alive. So those 10 days, how we learned to navigate through the situation, how we learned to appeal to the Naxalites, how we handled the situations through combing, etc., etc. It was ensured that enough pressure was put. So all these people came walking out of the forest after 10 days, and that
They didn't harm them?
No. They didn't touch them, and that was something which was very important for all of us, because the families of all these 5 constables and home guards were completely distraught, and they didn't expect to see them alive. So that was a major, I won't say achievement, but I would say a blessing that they all came back alive, and I was very grateful for that. So Prakasham had its own challenges in terms of handling Naxalism. And then the other districts, same thing with Mehboob Nagar. Mehboob Nagar was very interesting again in terms of the Naxalite challenge, and we initiated a lot of community policing programs.
Okay.
So through the community policing programs, in which I have a lot of faith even today, we ensured that all the Naxalites in the district surrendered, including the district committee secretary and his wife. And they surrendered with a huge amount of weapons and landmines which were meant to hit us. And the entire Naxalite movement was finished off with these surrenders. So I enjoyed that because it was done completely without any bloodshed, by appealing to them through community police programs with Chenchu tribals, for example, and with fishermen on the Krishna River. A lot of community policing initiatives were undertaken. So that was another thing which I really enjoyed. It's a different approach, a different way of looking at the problem and trying to find a different solution.
జనరల్గా జనాల్లో ఒక కామన్ క్వశ్చన్ ఉంటుంది చారు, ఎస్పెషలీ అబౌట్ విమెన్ ఆఫీసర్స్. అదేంటి అంటే వీళ్ళు ఇంత ట్రైనింగ్ తీసుకొని ఇవన్నీ నేర్చుకుంటారు కదా, అంటే మార్షల్ ఆర్ట్స్ నేర్చుకుంటారు, హార్స్ రైడింగ్ నేర్చుకుంటారు, ఫైటింగ్ నేర్చుకుంటారు. నిజంగా వీళ్ళు ఆఫీసర్లు అయ్యాక ఫైటింగ్ చేస్తారా? నిజంగా ఏమన్నా గొడవలు జరిగితే అక్కడ వెళ్ళి వాళ్ళ యాక్షన్ సీక్వెన్సెస్లో పార్టిసిపేట్ చేస్తారా? ఎందుకంటే సినిమాలో దట్స్ వాట్ దే షో. They show the women officers being very dynamic. They just knock down people and all. How does it actually happen, Charu? Were you ever involved in such action sequences?
No, not at all.
It doesn't happen.
No, not at all. The only chance which I had to actually deal with crowds physically was when where there would be bandobas and people are getting unruly. Then you get into a crowd and you handle the crowd and all that. And yes, we do learn how to do lathi charge and things like that. And yes, that was definitely tried out, but definitely not how they show it in films. It doesn't work like that, and it gives a different impression. I mean, I wish they would focus more on how intelligently women officers handle situations.
Yes.
Rather than showing them on similar lines as they show men.
Yeah.
Fighting, and as if that's the only way to handle situations.
దుర్గా నవరాత్రుల్లో ఉన్నాం కాబట్టి దుర్గమ్మ వారికి ఎన్నో రూపాలు ఉన్నాయి. మెయిన్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ రూపం ఇస్ కంపాషన్, మర్సీ అండ్ ఎంపథీ, కేర్, కన్సర్న్, ఇవి కూడా ఉన్నాయి అమ్మవారి రూపంలో. మనం ఎంత మీరు పోలీస్ ఆఫీసర్ అయినా కూడా యు ఆర్ అ ఉమెన్, యూ హ్యావ్ దట్ సైడ్ ఇన్ యూ వెరెన్ you deal things in a different way.
Yes.
It's always not about hitting, beating, shouting, screaming. Eppudu adi work out avvadu. So with love, compassion, empathy, how are you dealing? What was your strategy, Charu?
Yeah. For a long time when we got into the service, we were always taught about leadership. And the models were always male models.
Yeah.
That this is the kind of leader you should be, and very strict and, macho. And in fact, unfortunately, many women, they always, even at the constable level, they always take attitude, approach and style of working of men as the bar for best performance, because they don't have any other models. Right. So when we also became leaders, we always used to wonder that what kind of leadership style should one have. And it's only, as I said, in our journey in greater self-awareness that we reach our own styles of leadership. Compassionate leadership is what is being spoken of now. But this is what we have learned for the last several years, that as a leader, you have got to have that compassion for the public you serve and for the constabulary who works under you, for both of them, not just the public. And in this, our own constables have a lot of issues. Do we take care of that? Or we only learn how to take work from them and that's it? Draw the line. So in one of the wings where I was working, one of the forces where I was working, there was an issue where we found that constables are committing suicide. And so now the approach of that particular wing was, let's make working conditions better.
Okay.
Let's make living conditions better. Let's make transfer policies transparent, which is all fine. These are things which we all strive for throughout our careers. It is one end of the stick. I said, let's look at the other end of the stick. Our constables come into the service at a very young age. And when they come into the service at a very young age of 18 or 20 or 21, that's the time when nobody has taught them how to handle their emotions. They don't know how to handle negative emotions like anger, fear, and these kind of emotions. So when they don't do this, when they're 24, 25, they get married, stay with their wife for a couple of months. Sometimes the family is near them. Sometimes the family is a little far away. So then they go home and come back frequently. When we don't teach them how to handle their own emotions and understand their own thoughts and emotions, then they definitely get into what we call panic reactions in certain situations. We call these cognitive distortions.
Okay.
So one of the constables came up to me and said, "Ma'am, thank you so much for introducing this program." We had created a mental health program there. And the mental health program encompassed everything: how to understand your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings. And it also taught them how to have better communication with their spouses, parents, children. Because some constables, they get so stressed out because of the job that when they go home, they're only shouting. Their communication is only scolding the others. They don't know how to sit and have a communication very nicely with their family members about an issue. So we were teaching them how to have better communication at home. And one very important thing was gender conversations, which we introduced.
Okay.
This was important because we realized that most of these constables were not having an equal relationship with their wives. So we started this experiment in Mehboob
Okay.
many years back. And the SP there was very open to this, and she took it up immediately. And we took a small group of constables and sub-inspectors, and we put them through this program. And then we said 6 months after the program, we started watching their performance in the police stations. And we realized that most of the public would say, we want to talk to that fellow only in the police station. And then we would ask why. So they would say, because he understands better. Now, this constable was a person who would not even take a glass of water by himself at home. His wife is supposed to come and serve him. So the wife gets up at 5 in the morning, takes care of everything, packs, tiffin and lunch for everybody, children and husband, and she's the last to sleep at night after serving everybody, etc., etc. Now, when certain exercises were done at home, so this man started helping his wife in cooking. He started helping her in all the chores of the household. He started bathing his children. And while bathing, when his 4-year-old daughter started chatting with him, he developed a rapport which he never had. So then, even after this exercise, the gender conversations were over, he never stopped, having this rapport with his kids. But they realized the value of this program. And we found that the interpersonal dynamics between the man and his wife changed. And when that changed, the whole family became a happier family. One of the wings, as I said, I was working in, there we found that thousands of men started buying scooties for their wife after the program was over. Thousands of them started asking their wives to work. Thousands of them gave her the permission to use the UPI ID for, online purchases. And many of them gave permission to their daughters to study further. And not get her married that year, which they were planning to do. So they gave them 3 years or 5 years more to either study or work or do what they want to do. So what I'm trying to tell you is that we need to take care of our constabulary and their lives, and not just confine ourselves to taking work from them and say that, okay, I just need to extract work and that's my job. And similarly with the public, our approach has to be very, very sensitive and very compassionate. All of us, in fact, we all as officers go through phases of anger because you see so much injustice and you see the underbelly of society. You see the worst which a human being is capable of.
Correct.
You also see the best. But when you see the worst a human being is capable of, some of us, we deal with anger issues. We become cynical. And we very soon start losing faith in human beings. And that's where we need to check and correct ourselves. That's where we need to hold on to hope and not give up on human beings. So this is the biggest challenge for us as officers. And that's why I feel that rather than the macho style of leadership and policing, compassionate leadership is the order of the day, and that's how it should be.
మనకి చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి మనం చూసింది ఏంటంటే పోలీస్ అంటే భయం, పోలీస్ స్టేషన్ అంటే భయం, పోలీసులతో మాట్లాడాలంటే భయం. మనం ఏం చేయకపోయినా పోలీసు వచ్చి మన ముందు నిలబడ్డారంటే ఇక్కడ ఏదో జరగకూడదు జరిగింది. సో మనం మాట్లాడకూడదు, ఇంకా భయపడిపోవాలి, పారిపోవాలి.
So I'll just butt in here, Prema. In Indian society, self-discipline కొంచెం తక్కువ ఉంది compared to other countries when you travel abroad and you see. For this lack of self-discipline, that's why policing is required, and the fear factor also has to be there. Compassion is definitely has to be there, but the fear factor, I believe, that has to be there, because if people were self-regulated, self-disciplined, maybe we were not, policing is not required at all.
But how have the times changed? Ever since you started off in 90s, ఈ రోజు చూస్తే పోలీసింగ్లో కానీ ఈవెన్ పీపుల్స్ యాటిట్యూడ్ బిహేవియరల్ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్లో కానీ మార్పులు ఏమైనా వచ్చాయా, లేకపోతే ఇంకా దారుణంగా తయారైందా? ఎట్లా ఉంది
No,
సొసైటీ?
I think there's a huge difference from when we were there in terms of the number of women who were there in the police. In terms of policing attitude, there has been a huge change. There has been a massive awareness and a sense of greater responsibility towards the public now. At that time, if you remember, we did not have mobile phones, right? So even in getting information about a crime, or reaching the spot and then getting further information on what's happening there, we would not get information. We would be waiting for hours for a phone call on the landline.
Yeah.
So the advantage of mobile phones today is because information travels so fast that the entire police force has become more alert, more aware and more responsive.
అండ్ వాట్ అబౌట్ పీపుల్? జనాల్లో ఆ ఫియర్ ఫ్యాక్టర్ కొంచెం తగ్గిందా? కొంచెము అంటే ఆర్ దే ఏబుల్ టు కమ్ బిఫోర్ అ పోలీస్ అండ్ హ్యావ్ అ కాన్వర్జేషన్? ఆర్ దే ఓపెన్? ఆర్ దే ఫ్రీ? వాట్ డూ యూ థింక్? ఏమనిపిస్తుంది?
I think they are not so afraid as they were earlier. The people who are afraid are the ones who have done something which is not exactly right, and they go to a police station. But I will not say that we have succeeded 100% in our style of policing, in how it should be. The ideal style of policing. We still have some way to go. And I will still say that yes, when people talk to me, they are not comfortable in walking into a police station so easily without somebody's reference.
కొంచెం ఇలా సాఫ్ట్గా, నైస్గా, ఎంపథెటిక్గా మాట్లాడితే వీక్ అనుకోరా మిమ్మల్ని? దిస్ ఆఫీసర్ ఈజ్ వీక్, she doesn't know anything.
Initially it happened in my in fact in Pulivendula itself, when I took charge, I had one of the inspectors who was very senior. He would have been around 55, 56 years of age at that time. Senior man, old way of thinking. So he kept watching, and then he would keep telling other senior officers, she's too soft, she can't do it, elections are coming, she can't handle it. So imagine my inspector talking about the ASP to senior officers. But when they saw me during the election period, the way we handled the whole elections in 1999, after that, they had no doubts in their mind as to what can be done by being soft where required and by being tough where required. So you see, it's not just compassion but compassion, fear, toughness. I think women display a combination of all this.
Right. ప్రతి ఉమెన్లో ఒక మదర్లీ ఇన్స్టింక్ట్ ఉంటుంది. మీరు అన్నట్టు ఎక్కడైతే తిట్టాలో అక్కడ తిడతారు, ఎక్కడైతే కొట్టాలో అక్కడ కొడతారు, ఎక్కడైతే ప్రేమ చూపించాలో అక్కడ చూపిస్తారు. దట్స్ అంటే బై డిఫాల్ట్ ఇట్స్ అ ఉమెన్ థింగ్. సో అలా ఉన్నప్పుడు ఇస్ ఇట్ అన్ అడ్వాంటేజ్ ఆర్ అ డిసడ్వాంటేజ్ యాజ్ అన్ ఆఫీసర్?
Big advantage. I think it's a very big advantage. It also helps you to look at a problem from a different way. It like for example, if there is one particular problem, as I was mentioning, suicides. So the typical attitude on how to solve the problem is better transfer policy, better living conditions, better working conditions. But when we come in, we say no. If a man is committing suicide, I remember one man, he had crawled under a truck and he shot himself dead there. And that really triggered off something in me. I was very disturbed, and I felt that if my boy can crawl under a truck and shoot himself, that means he was so isolated. He would have felt so disturbed and so alone in his life that he did this to himself. So how can I help my men to handle this sense of loneliness, the sense of helplessness, the inability to take care of their own issues? How can I help them there? I would like to lead a happy force. I would not like to lead an unhappy force which is so disturbed, whatever the reasons are for disturbing them. It could be maybe he had just taken a loan of some amount which he is not able to repay. But how can I help him? So then my approach becomes providing them coping skills. Whatever life brings up, can I give my men the coping skills to cope up with whatever life brings? Doesn't matter whatever it is. I can all my life keep on trying to make living conditions, working conditions, promotions in time, transfers in time. I can keep on trying that. But will that guarantee happiness? No. Coping skills will bring happiness. So it's just a change of approach which women bring in.
ఒక 2 decades నుంచి బాగా వింటున్నాము కొన్ని వర్డ్స్.
ఇలా
మిసోజినీ, ఫెమినిజం,
రైట్
ఓకే, దెన్ టాక్సిక్ మాస్కులినిటీ,
రైట్
పేట్రియార్కీ.
ఎస్
అంటే ఈ పదాలు రిపీటెడ్గా వీఆర్ లిస్నింగ్. కొంతమంది దాన్ని రియల్ ట్రూ సెన్స్లో అర్థం చేసుకొని దే ట్రైంగ్ టు ఇంప్లిమెంట్ ఇన్ దేర్ పర్సనల్ లైఫ్స్. సమ్ పీపుల్ ఆర్ మిస్అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ద ఎంటైర్ మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్ అండ్ దే ఆర్ గోయింగ్ ఓవర్ బోర్డ్ అండ్ డూయింగ్ ఆల్ నాన్ సెన్సికల్ థింగ్స్. ఈ 4 పదాలు, వాట్ వే దే టు యూ?
So when we got into the service, we had no idea. Whenever I would go into a new place of posting, it would take me 3 to 4 months to actually win over my own subordinate officers or my own senior officers. Win over in the sense, convince them that I am capable of doing this work. Many times when people would not believe in you, I thought it's because of my personality. Or when people would not accept you, I thought it was maybe it's my personality. I was a very introverted and very shy person, coming from a convent educated background. So at that point of time, because I didn't have brothers, so I really didn't have much interaction with men, having studied in a girls' school.
Yeah.
So I didn't know the kind of games which men usually play. So for me, I just didn't understand this, and I felt I'm the problem. It took me quite some time to understand the games which men play, and it took me certain postings to understand that this is misogyny, to understand and identify misogynistic behavior on the part of men.
Okay.
For example, you are in a meeting and everybody is expressing their point of view. When it comes to your turn and you start speaking, somebody will try to cut you down.
Okay.
And then I learned that I'm not going to allow that. I have a voice too, and I have a right to express my opinion as an officer. And so I'll say, okay, please let me complete. And then I would continue with that. Sometimes I remember in one posting, whenever I would go to meet some senior officer in that particular state, they would not look at me directly in the eyes. They would be looking here, they would be looking there, they would be sniggering a little bit or smiling unnecessarily and trying to sign some paper. And I didn't understand, why is he not looking at me? So then I started carrying one of my DIGs with me. I said, okay, now both of you, at least you can look at him. So he would actually look at the DIG only and talk. He would still not be looking at me. I didn't understand that. And then I realized that it's his problem. If he's not able to look at me, maybe they're not used to senior women officers or talking to them. And people really do not know how to talk to and treat senior women officers in certain parts of the country. In certain parts of the country. Again, I would say states like in the south, AP, Telangana and all are 100 times better than many other states in the country. But misogyny manifests itself in different ways. And I'm happy to note that the younger girls in the services today are more aware of this than we were. And they're outspoken too, and I'm very happy about that. But if you ask senior women bureaucrats, let's talk about misogyny, you will find many of them shying away. No, I have not faced misogyny in my life.
Yes.
Many of them don't accept it. Many of them would like to gloss over it. And another reason for that is maybe people would like to hear stories of the atrocities done on a poor woman rather than the misogyny which a senior bureaucrat in power has faced.
Yes.
So these stories are not, very palatable or maybe not very attractive to people. So then women say, okay, just forget it. Whatever we have experienced, set it aside. Now move forward.
తెలిసి తెలియని టైంలో ఇవన్నీ జరుగుతున్నాయి. అంటే బై ద టైమ్ యూ రియలైజ్ ఓ ఇది మిసోజినీ, మనకు తెలియనే లేదే ఇలా చేశారు అని. సో బై ద టైమ్ యూ రియలైజ్డ్, what was your mental status, Charu?
A lot of anger, but also a decision that I'm not going to allow them to do this with me. And you start calling it out. So if somebody, as I said, doesn't allow you to speak in a meeting, or somebody is shooting down your idea because it's coming from a woman, maybe the same idea, if it had come from a man, maybe it would be more palatable, more acceptable. So then you start putting your foot down and you start calling it out. And I would say this to all the women across all services, or whether it's the corporate sector or the government sector. that when you see misogyny, start calling it out. It's time now.
When was the first time you called it out?
I started calling it out somewhere around 2012. Yeah, about 13-14 years back. There was an understanding and a realization, and then I started speaking up.
అంటే హాఫ్ కెరియర్ అయిపోయాక ఆల్మోస్ట్.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When you don't call it out,
Yeah.
it goes on increasing, and people think they can get away with it. And very important now is, and I'm happy to see that many men also recognize this now. And I would say in my friend circle, I'm very happy to say that there are many men who understand what is toxic masculinity, how it manifests itself, and how they need to ensure that the men under them change this behavior. So there are quite a few people who understand that, but as I said, we still have a long way to go. And this change cannot be brought about till men understand this themselves. And what happens is that by the time a child is 5 years old, whether it's a boy or a girl, in their minds, the roles of men and women get clearly defined. What in terms of what they see in the house. Supposing there's a working mother and a working father, for them it's easy to understand that.
Yeah.
But if they see a housewife and a working father, then they feel that, oh, this is the role of the woman to be a homemaker, and this is the role of the man that he will earn outside. That becomes difficult to change as they grow up.
Right.
So in fact, in 2016-17, we associated with the SCERT, and we got all the gender biased stories from class 1 to class 10 changed.
Oh,
and
like how?
Like my mother is a homemaker and my father works. So we got it changed to my mother is a farmer, my father is also a farmer. It's like that. Okay. So changing these slight biases so that the gender role which gets stuck in the mind of the boy and the girl, they don't get stuck this way.
Yeah.
They understand that both are capable of both, because this is all about gender. Right? It's all about roles which men and women are pushed into playing in society. It got printed in 2018, and I think 2019 June session nunchi the new SCRT books had come out.
But in Indian society, ఎంత జెండర్ రోల్స్ ఇప్పుడు చేంజ్ అవుతూ ఉన్నా కూడా, లైక్ మీరు అన్నట్టు మై మదర్ ఇస్ అ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఇంజనీర్, మై ఫాదర్ ఇస్ అ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఇంజనీర్, బట్ ఎట్ హోమ్ మై మదర్ ఓన్లీ వర్క్స్, మై ఫాదర్ డజంట్ వర్క్ అన్న ఒకటి ఇంకా ఇట్ ఈస్
there are a lot of nuances, finer nuances.
కొన్ని ఎక్కడో ఇంకా చిన్నగా ఇది ఈక్వాలిటీ కంటిన్యూ అవుతూనే ఉంది.
కండిషనింగ్ ఆఫ్ ది ఫాదర్.
ఇంకా పిల్లలు ఎలా నేర్చుకుంటారు చారు? ఇప్పటి సొసైటీలో ఇప్పటి పిల్లలు, ద జెన్ జీ వీఆర్ కాలింగ్, స్టిల్ వాళ్ళ క్లారిటీ లేదు. చాలా మంది పిల్లలకి అమ్మ రోల్ ఏంటి, నాన్న రోల్ ఏంటి.
True. This is where our education system, our teachers' roles come in. I mean, it's a huge job that we have ahead of us.
How was your experience as a first women officer heading the CRPF? At such way, that too in Srinagar.
Yeah. Jammu and Srinagar and Bihar. Yeah. So I think the first 3 months, as I said, in any posting, the first 3 months it takes in any organization to get accepted. And for people to understand that you're there to serve and you don't have any other stakes.
Yeah.
And let us say, so far, one particular organization has had one particular way of doing things, and you are bringing another approach to it.
Okay.
You are bringing another solution or another method of handling the problem. So sometimes there is resistance to that, but when people start seeing the results, then there is tremendous faith and belief. I would say it was the best period of my career, and also the most difficult and the most challenging. So I'm very grateful for that opportunity.
నార్మల్గా క్రిమినల్స్ ఆర్ నాట్ బార్న్, సర్కమ్స్టాన్సెస్ మేక్ దెమ్ క్రిమినల్స్ అని అంటుంటారు. అయితే ఇలాంటి క్రిమినల్స్ని రిహాబిలిటేషన్ ద్వారానో రిఫర్మేషన్స్ ద్వారానో మనం మార్చొచ్చు. బట్ టెర్రర్ ఇస్ సంథింగ్, టెర్రరిస్ట్ ఆర్ సంథింగ్, ఎక్స్ట్రీమిస్ట్ ఆర్ సమ్వన్. ఐ మీన్ ఇట్స్ లైక్ పుట్టినప్పటి నుంచే వాళ్ళకి కొన్ని నేర్పుతుంటారు. పిల్లలకి చిన్నప్పటి నుంచే గన్నులు ఇచ్చి నేర్పిస్తున్నారు కదా, ఇలా ఉండండి అలా ఉండండి. సో అలాంటి వాళ్ళతో మీరు స్ట్రాటజీ మార్చి, హౌ విల్ యూ డీల్ such kind of terror? How do you deal in a nicer way? in a strategic, what was your strategy?
So for us, the most important part was to tie up with the schools, the education system there, and to try and see how we could do sessions with the teachers to bring in only one concept, the concept of inclusivity and the concept of what you call universality and humanitarianism, that we are all equal. All religions lead to the same path, and different religions give you a different style of worship, a different method of worship, but everybody leads you to the same God. So how do we bring in these concepts amongst the teachers? So our initiative there was with the municipal corporations there to ensure that the education system becomes a part of this initiative in training the teachers in these universal concepts, where these foundations would come and take training for the teachers. The idea was, through the teachers can we percolate to the students, because there are thousands of students. We can't reach out to each student. So through teachers can we percolate to the students. So it was an effort. Now, these efforts cannot be quantified. I can't tell you that, yes, we did this and it changed the lives of so many students. I won't be able to tell you that. But it was an effort, nevertheless. And I feel that the teachers in any system play the most important part in instilling the right ideas in very young minds.
So now you got back to Telangana again after so many years, 7-8 years almost. Now you've taken the additional charge of Women's Safety Wing. Asalu, we as Telanganites are very proud that, we could bring such an initiative.
Yes.
Women's Safety Wing lo, she teams, BHAROSA, ante women ki yenta veelaithe anta.
Yes.
Cushion them, protect them,
Absolutely.
take care of them, see to it that safety and security are priority. Inta మనం చేసుకుంటూ వచ్చాము. మీరు ఏమంటారు చారు? నిజంగా ఇనిషియేటివ్స్
These initiatives are absolutely present on the ground. And in fact, if you would like, you can actually visit some of the centers, BHAROSA centers, and centers where the she teams are situated, and you can take a look at how they are working.
Okay.
And BHAROSA Center initiative, it's a one-stop crisis center. The idea is to bring all services to the woman at a place which is not a police station, so that her level of comfort is taken care of. So the police service, the medical service, the judicial services, the legal services, etc., everything is brought to her at one place. So when the first BHAROSA Center was started in Hyderabad, there was tremendous response at that point of time. And that is, seeing that response, the decision was taken by the government to expand it to all the districts. And now we have 32 BHAROSA centers across the state. 4 more are on the anvil, and they will be rolled out very soon. These centers take care only of rape and POCSO Act victims. And we do the hand-holding right from the time the victim comes to the BHAROSA Center till the completion of the trial. So we do the hand-holding throughout the trial also. How to refresh her memory, etc. during the trial. And at the first stage, many women who undergo this kind of trauma are very incoherent.
Okay.
So emotionally, they are very disturbed. Kabatti, they really don't know meeku exactly ఏమైంది ఎలా చెప్పాలి. So they are very, very, very incoherent, as I said. So we help them to actually reduce whatever has happened into a statement, which can be presented before the court of law. Recently, about 2 months back, we started a new initiative. So far, our counseling involved making home visits to the victim to check out whether she's still studying or not, or he's still studying or not. And we found that quite a few victims had dropped out of school because of shame, because of they are not able to tolerate the comments, and their parents are also very upset. The parents have withdrawn from the village society because they are not able to handle what people are saying. So we realized that what these victims needed is not just counseling but healing.
Yeah.
So we have recently introduced one of the psychotherapy methods based on Carl Jung's school of psychotherapy. And now we have trainers coming in to train our counselors in psychotherapy.
Oh, okay.
So we are covering our 32 BHAROSA centers, and we have 30 counseling centers for victims of domestic violence. So these 62 centers counselors are now being trained in psychotherapy so that they can help the victim to heal her trauma. And we are sharing the same method with the victim's parents so that they can get rid of their fears, their inhibitions and all that. And we want to try and see how this method helps the victim to get back into school, to get back into a normal life.
Okay.
So again, as I said, it's a different approach that we are taking. Counseling is definitely not enough. We would like to go forward, take one step further into helping them in the healing process.
బట్ ఎంతవరకు ఇలాంటి ఇనిషియేటివ్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఇలాంటివి జరుగుతుంది అన్నది ఎంతవరకు సొసైటీలో పర్క్యులేట్ అయింది, అంటే ఎంతవరకు దీని మీద అవేర్నెస్ ఉంది జనాలకి?
BHAROSA center undani, I think quite a few people know, but yes, I feel that we are lacking in a visibility strategy.
Exactly.
And definitely this is something which I'm already taking a look at on how to make all these initiatives more visible. Like 2 days back, we have launched another initiative called the Safe Mobility Initiative, because Prema, you and I, we've all traveled in buses in schools and colleges. We've all been victims and seen misbehavior, physical misbehavior of men groping and unzipping, etc., etc. I thought that it's high time that we said no even to this. So far, women have not been able to go to the police station to complain because the person who has misbehaved is an unknown person.
Exactly.
They don't know the number or the man, and maybe they may not even be able to identify him tomorrow. So they never go to the police station because they feel evar gurinchi velli cheppali. So now we have introduced a system by means of which the girl can escalate the matter to the conductor, or herself she can dial 100 or 112, and a petrol vehicle will come and pick up the boy immediately. So we have introduced this in RTC buses, private buses, metro rail, and in autos. I mean, we are covering all these forms of transportation. So I hope that the girls take advantage of this, and I would like to make it clear to everybody that this behavior is no longer going to be acceptable.
బట్ హౌ డస్ ఇట్ యాక్చువల్లీ హ్యాపెన్? అంటే ఎక్కడో ఒక బస్సులో ఏదో ఒక ప్రాంతంలో ఒక అమ్మాయికి
సో డయల్ 100 or 112 చేస్తే we have large number of petrol vehicles. So whichever petrol vehicle ki aa area assigned undi, we are hoping that oka 5 to 8 minutes time lo aa petrol vehicle immediately వచ్చేస్తుంది. And then that bus will already be moving to the next stop, and the conductor will tell them that we are now next stop idi. So the petrol vehicle will come and pick up the boy from there, and then they will hand over this boy to the she teams.
Okay.
And then the she teams takes it forward from there, and of course later on, and they will ask the girl to either give a complaint, or in whatever way she is comfortable, the girl can escalate the matter. Yeah. So my point is that as a society, this is not the kind of behavior which we need to say ye to hota hi hai gaadi mein, isko let us accept it. No, let us say no even to this bad behavior.
Yes. But tell me, Charu, మనం ఏదైతే దేశంలో ప్రస్తుతం ఉన్నామో ఇక్కడ ఎన్ని మంచి ఉందో, ఎన్ని ఫెసిలిటీస్ ఉన్నో, ఎంత మంచి జరుగుతుందో అంతే రకంగా చెడు కూడా జరుగుతుంది. అండ్ చెడుకు యాక్సెప్టెన్స్ ఉంది, దాన్ని సకంబ్ అవుతున్నాము. అండ్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ పొలిటికల్ ఇంటర్వెన్షన్స్ ఉంటాయి, ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్లు పనిచేస్తాయి. ఏదైనా సరే దే విల్ స్నబ్ ఇట్ ఆఫ్ అండ్ దెన్ పుట్ ఇట్ అండర్ ద కార్పెట్. కొన్ని జరుగుతుంటాయి ఇలాంటివి. ఇలాంటి సమయాల్లో అమ్మాయిలు కాకు అబ్బాయిలది ఎవరైనా సరే ఒక అన్యాయం జరిగినప్పుడు కంప్లైంట్ చేయడానికి కూడా భయపడతారు. బికాస్ ఏం జరుగుతుందిలే న్యాయము అన్న ఒక ఎయిదర్ ఒక అపనమ్మకం అవ్వచ్చు, భయం అవ్వచ్చు. బట్ ఈ కంప్లైంట్ చేయటం అన్నది ఎందుకు అంతగా జరగట్లేదు? వై వీఆర్ నాట్ కంప్లైనింగ్ ఫస్ట్ థింగ్, అండ్ వై ద కంప్లైంట్స్ ఆర్ నాట్ టర్నింగ్ ఇన్ టు కన్విక్షన్స్? the second thing.
Fear, I totally agree with you. I mean, any woman who faces this, even if supposing you and I had been there 30 years back, even if somebody had told us that you have to go to the police station to complain, I mean, we would not have done that,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It is a natural thing in India. It's a very common thing in India as far as girls are concerned. But Telangana and AP are the kind of states, because of the kind of initiatives they have, which
కొంచెం
are not
anonymity
there.
మెయింటైన్ చేస్తారా? ఈ కంప్లైంట్ చేసే వాళ్ళది కంప్లీట్ anonymity.
Yes,
అంటే వాట్ ఎవర్ బి ద కంప్లైంట్.
According to law also, the names of the victims who undergo who are victims of heinous crimes, that cannot be exposed to the public. It never is.
Yeah.
So that anonymity will always be maintained. I would encourage girls to approach she teams or BHAROSA. Whenever they face, if it's a heinous crime, it's a very serious, grave crime, then they approach BHAROSA. And if it is milder forms of eve teasing and harassment, stalking and all that, they can approach she teams. And if it's domestic violence, they can approach the counselling centers. We have 30 counselling centers in the tri-commissionerates. We will expand slowly across the districts, but maybe in the next 6 months to 1 year, they can come to the counselling centers. There are, what I'm trying to tell you is, there are redressal mechanisms here in Telangana and AP, which are not very common in many other states. So here, also given the levels of literacy in Telangana and AP, I think girls should give up that fear, come forward. And if there is a problem, officers like us are already there. One good thing in Telangana is a lot of women officers.
Yes.
So officers are always there to approach, and if they find that somebody is unresponsive or they're not getting the kind of justice which they wanted. So officers are always there. But here I would also like to say that I find that some girls, at times, if it's a land-related dispute between two families, they make it into a girl's issue, a woman harassment issue, and they come to us with a wrong kind of complaint. So sometimes we do come across this, but this is very less. Maybe just 5% or so. 95%, I would say, are genuine complaints, and we are very keen that justice should be done. My worry is also about the corporate sector, where sexual harassment at workplace is rampant. But girls don't complain. Internal complaints committees have not been formed in most of the companies. Yes. Out of thousands of companies we have here, hardly a few hundreds have formed. Maybe it's just 1% of the companies who have formed internal complaints.
It was made mandatory, right?
It was made mandatory by the Supreme Court, but the companies have still not done that. And it's a matter of concern, because once the internal complaint committees have not been formed, when they have not been trained, there is no grievance redressal mechanism. So the girl has nowhere to go, and many girls have faced very bad situations, and I'm told that certain girls have actually left their jobs because they found that there was no other way out but to save themselves by quitting the job and picking up another job. So my concern is that, so for that also we are establishing a posh help desk at the Women's Safety Wing. It's a physical space. So any woman can either mail or phone or walk in. If she needs guidance on her situation, this is the situation she's facing at workplace, what should she do? So there we will have a team of legal counselors who can even help her to draft a complaint and who can advise her on how to go to the internal complaint committee. If the internal complaint committee is not formed, we will contact the concerned corporate and raise this issue with them. So this is another area which we are taking up shortly. And I think in another 1 or 2 months, the posh desk should be established.
సో జనరల్గా మనం ఇట్లాంటి విమెన్ సెంట్రిక్ అప్రోచెస్ ఆర్ ఇనిషియేటివ్స్ టేకప్ చేసినప్పుడు దెర్ ఈస్ అ క్రిటిసిజం దట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ప్రొటెక్టింగ్ టూ మచ్ ఆఫ్ దేర్ రైట్స్ అండ్ దట్ మైట్ లీడ్ టు ఫేక్ కంప్లైంట్ సమ్టైమ్స్ అండ్ వీ కాంట్ డూ ఎనీథింగ్ అబౌట్ ఇట్ అండ్ దట్ అది ఏమైపోతుందంటే ఒక డిస్బిలీఫ్ తీసుకొస్తుంది సొసైటీలో.
But whenever I find that whenever there has been a lot of crimes against women, lot of harassment, lot of injustices, the pendulum will swing to an extreme for some time before it comes back to the center.
Right.
So as a society, we need to learn how to handle this. And whenever a fake complaint comes, adi telisipotundi, adi inquiry tarvata telisipotundi. And then we advise the girl accordingly. We also tell her very clearly that this is not the way of handling your problem. And it's not that, a complaint comes and we just go straight against the man. It doesn't work like that. And we go absolutely fairly. That's our effort always.
ఇలాంటి ఇనిషియేటివ్స్ స్టార్ట్ అయినప్పుడు టెక్నాలజీ అన్నది ఎంతవరకు రియలీ హెల్ప్ చేసింది, ఎంతవరకు అది డెట్రిమెంటల్ అయింది ఫర్ సచ్ ఇనిషియేటివ్స్?
I would say in the case of these initiatives taken up by the Women's Safety Wing, technology has helped us tremendously in keeping a watch on the data. When you're dealing with thousands of cases, you can't do it manually by writing in registers and all. So softwares are developed for every initiative. And that has helped us tremendously in keeping a watch and an overview on what is happening. So for example, if I want to take a look at how Mehboob Nagar or Rajana Sirsila district is handling their cases, I'm able to do it through technology. Otherwise, manually, it's very difficult to extract the number of cases and jot down all details which I want and then take a look. So I found that technology has been very helpful. Where I consider technology as detrimental, where I find that the internet has really played havoc with young minds, and access to pornography, access to child pornography is a major concern for us now. Unfortunately, I'm saying this very straightforwardly, but unfortunately, because of access to pornography, when young adults want to explore different things with women, then and they go to sex workers, they want younger sex workers, not the older sex workers. So then, unfortunately, if you see in this entire sex work area, the demand for younger girls has become very strong, and that's a matter of great concern for us.
Oh my God.
Yes.
How can that be addressed now?
When we talk about free Wi-Fi corridors, when we talk about giving children access to mobiles at a very young age, and when parents do not keep a watch on what the children are watching, unlimited access to whatever is available on the internet, these are things which will have to be addressed. All this starts from home.
Women's Safety Wing లాంటి ఒక వెరీ రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్, వై ఈజ్ ఇట్ దట్ ఓన్లీ విమెన్ హ్యాండిల్ ఇట్ ఆల్ ద టైమ్? ఎందుకు విమెన్ ఆఫీసర్స్నే అక్కడ పెడతారు?
లేదు, ఇప్పుడు all my teams, all DSPs, all inspectors are men.
No, I'm talking about the one who is heading the department.
Yeah, I think it was started, like, I think I'm the third officer to head the department. It is not a very old department. It's just that these are issues which are very close to our hearts. These are issues which we are passionate about. So when given a chance, we ask for it. That's it.
Endukante I've noticed even in the bureaucracy, women and child welfare, it is always a woman minister or a woman officer. So it's all, ante na point ఏంటంటే విమెన్ రిలేటెడ్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్ని మెన్కి వస్తే కదా వాళ్ళకి అర్థం అవుతుంది దీని గ్రావిటీ ఏంటి, దీంతో సీరియస్నెస్ ఎంత ఉంది, అండ్ వాళ్ళు సెన్సిటైజ్ అవుతారు.
No, I totally agree. If in fact men come forward to head these departments, we'll be very happy, because they just might bring another approach to a particular problem. We'll be very happy if they come forward to
It's not just about women safety wing. Even కొన్ని డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్ మెన్ ఎక్కువ చేసేవాళ్ళు, అవి స్టిల్ దే ఆర్ విత్ మెన్. So women are not offered those departments. Women are not posted in those departments. So that's my question. And it is like,
so actually it's a question of, again, how the government thinks women can work there. So it's a matter of what the top levels think things should be like.
Correct. ఎప్పుడైనా చారు, were you dejected, low moments in your entire career where you felt that
several times
I did not get my due yet అని ఎప్పుడైనా అనిపిస్తుంటుందా మీకు?
No, I didn't think that I didn't get my due yet, but the dejection and all was more because of situations and circumstances. And
not about your post and position.
No, navigating through the system as a single woman is different when you're navigating through as a woman who has a husband who may or may not be in the services. But navigating through the system as a single woman, my experience, and if you talk to any of the other single ladies, I'm sure they will echo my thoughts, is a little more difficult. So there are times because you have to handle your own fears, your own dejection by yourself.
Yeah.
You do not talk about it to your parents or other family members. The biggest advantage I find in that is it makes you very strong internally. And that strength is absolutely unshakable and unbeatable. Yes, there have been moments of dejection, but then I'm happy they were there, but because today it has made me what I am.
ఇన్నేళ్ల మీ కెరియర్లో ఎన్నో అప్స్ అండ్ డౌన్స్ చూసుంటారు, ఎన్నో దారుణమైన పరిస్థితులని ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అయి ఉంటారు, ఎంతో బాధపడి ఉంటారు. అయ్యో ఎందుకు ఇలా జరిగింది, ఈ అమ్మాయికి ఎందుకు ఇలా జరిగింది, లేకపోతే ఈ మహిళకి ఎందుకు ఇలా జరిగింది, మనం ఇంతమంది పోలీసులు ఉండి కూడా మనం ఎందుకు ఏం చేయలేకపోయాము, ఎందుకు ఈ న్యాయం జరగట్లేదు అంటే ఇఫ్ యూఆర్ యాజ్ పీపుల్ ఇన్ పవర్, ఇఫ్ యూఆర్ నాట్ ఏబుల్ టు డూ దట్, వాట్ వాస్ ద పాత్ దట్ యు టుక్? ఏ పాత్లోకి వెళ్ళి అంటే మీ మైండ్ని సేన్గా ఎలా పెట్టుకోగలిగారు?
I think it was only because of a spiritual background. It's only because of the meditation practices which we do. It's only because of the different healing methodologies in which I myself have been trained. So every time a situation comes up and a particular emotion is coming up, I know how I have to handle that. And yes, you're right. There were so many situations where you feel you can't take this anymore, and you can't tolerate this anymore. So then you realize how your mind is playing. You realize what are the trigger points in your mind. There are some times when we all catastrophize. That is, the situation may actually be very simple, but the mind is catastrophizing and thinking what is the worst possible which is going to happen. So how does one deal with all these thoughts? As I was telling you, that one of the constables who came to me said, "Ma'am, thank you so much for the program, but yesterday I was catastrophizing." Now, if I'm able to bring a 10th class constable to this awareness that he is catastrophizing and this is one of the cognitive distortions, then I'm so happy with this. I'm so happy with the outcome. So it's the same for us also. When we understand our own thought processes, the entire journey of leadership, and I'm so grateful for this job, not just for what it has given to us externally in terms of position, etc., but I'm so grateful for the chance it gave us to go into deeper self-awareness, to get into more awareness about ourselves, what's going on in the mind, our thoughts, our feelings, watching our own ego, and learning how to be accountable to ourselves. Sometimes when you're in a position of power and authority, many people feel that they're not accountable to anyone and they can get away with everything. They don't know where to draw the line.
Right.
So when you are a leader, it's a very beautiful spiritual journey in greater self-awareness. So can we all do that? And a leader who is more self-aware is very different from a leader who is completely unaware and highly egoistic and power drunk.
Right. So what is your spiritual journey all about? Ante when it all started off?
I think it started when I was 19 years old and my father's German friend gave me a book called The Autobiography of a Yogi on Paramahansa Yoganandaji. And from there my questions started about what is my life for, who am I, where is my life leading me, what am I supposed to do in this life, what am I supposed to do with this life. And so that started. And then there have been different spiritual experiences. There was a particular guru whom I followed for a very long time. And I was with that particular guru when he actually left his body. I was in the ICU with him when he left his body. And watching your guru leave the body is probably one of the most powerful experiences that you can ever have. Because at that time, what dawns on you is that this body is just a bubble. and you are much more than your body. So when everybody else in the ICU was sitting and crying about the guru having died, and I kept telling everybody, he's not dead, how can he die? I mean, he is always going to be with us. And that was a very beautiful experience. And right now also I have a guru whom I follow, and it's only spirituality which can keep you sane, grounded, more self-aware. It helps you to watch yourself. It prevents you from making a lot of mistakes.
బట్ పొద్దున్న లేచినప్పటి నుంచి పడుకునేంత వరకు మీ మైండ్లో 100 థింగ్స్ రన్ అవుతుంటాయి. అంటే ఇన్ని డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్ మీరు హ్యాండిల్ చేస్తున్నారు, ఇంత మందితో మీరు మాట్లాడాలి, ఇన్ని ఇష్యూస్ సాల్వ్ చేయడానికి ప్రయత్నించాలి, సాల్వ్ చెయ్యాలి. ఈ ప్రాసెస్లో how do you keep your mind towards spirituality? How does that happen?
So spirituality is not just meditating for half an hour or 1 hour in the room. So the idea is to learn to be mindful. The process is called mindfulness. So how do you be mindful all the time? Mindfulness and constant focus on yourself alone keeps you centered. Okay. Otherwise you will find that you're losing your temper, you're getting angry, and I find that with myself also. The moment I'm not mindful, and when I'm simply going with events and just becoming a person all the time, becoming a personality all the time, there are times when I get irritated and annoyed with people. Even now. So spirituality is a practice you have to do constantly till your last breath. It's not something which you do now for 1 hour every day and then it's going to work like magic for the rest of your life. So the sadhana, we call the sadhana, has to be there all the time. So the sadhana is to remain constantly focused on the self, and that is my effort and my endeavor.
How do you keep yourself occupied with your own interests? Ante like painting, writing quotes, poetry, writing some articles. Because నేను మీ ఆర్టికల్స్ కొన్ని చదివాను. మీ గురువు గురించి మీరు రాసిన ఎన్నో ఆర్టికల్స్, మీ ఓన్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్సెస్, మీ ఐడియాలజీల గురించి మీరు రాసిన ఒక సిరీస్ ఆఫ్ ఆర్టికల్స్, ఇవన్నీ ఐ హ్యావ్ గాన్ త్రూ. సో how do you take the time out and sit down and pen it?
8 years I've not been able to do much writing, but I would like to definitely get back to it. And painting, yes, I enjoy painting. I do some resin paintings. Maybe I'll show you a couple of resin tables which I've made, and some quotes maybe you can just check out here. I've put the quotes all over my house. They're all quotes on Advaita, because Advaita is the path that I follow. So this is something which I need to find time for now and I'm looking forward to it.
But you take out time.
I take out time.
Is it some time అంటే
ఎప్పుడు వీలైతే
ఎవ్రీ వారంలో ఒక రోజు తీసుకోవాలి అట్లేమని అనుకుంటారా?
ఒక రోజు ఫుల్ దొరకదు, గంట 2 గంటలు అలా దొరికితే కూడా that's my when I work with colors it relaxes me completely.
మన సనాతన ధర్మంలో చెప్తూ ఉంటారు ఏంటంటే, ఒక ఆడదాని పర్పస్ ఈజ్ టు గెట్ మ్యారీడ్ అండ్ హ్యావ్ కిడ్స్ అండ్ హ్యావ్ అ లైఫ్, హ్యావ్ అంటే వాళ్ళ జనరేషన్లు ఉత్పత్తి చేస్తూ ఒక భవిష్యత్తు క్రియేట్ చేయాలి. అంటే ఇవన్నీ మనకి చెప్తారు, అంటే మన ధర్మంలో అది ఉందంటారు. సో వాట్ ఈజ్ యువర్ ధర్మ టువర్డ్స్ మ్యారేజ్? మీరేమనుకుంటారు చారు దీని గురించి? మీ ఒపీనియన్ ఏంటి?
సో యాక్చువల్లీ స్పిరిచువల్ జర్నీలో సేవ నా ధర్మ అని నాకు అర్థమైంది on the spiritual journey, and so that's the path I have taken. And so when as you will see that I have never been a conformist. I've always been a non-conformist. I've always been a rebel since childhood actually. So all the established norms of society are something which I've never followed. And so for me that was my path. When I got into the service also, I was told 6 months in advance by my guru that I'm going to be getting into this service. So he also told me the purpose of my getting into the service. Before every posting, I would be told that this is your purpose there. So my life is seva ki ankitam. And all these beliefs which society has about the role of a woman, I don't subscribe to it. So I've carved my own path and that's it.
సో వాట్ అకార్డింగ్ టు యూ షుడ్ బి ద రోల్ ఆఫ్ అ ఉమెన్? అంటే ఎంతసేపటికి విమెన్ని కొన్ని బ్రాకెట్స్లో పెట్టేస్తాం. విమెన్ అంటే హోమ్ మేకర్, విమెన్ అంటే కెరియర్ ఉమెన్, ఆర్ విమెన్ అంటే ఫైట్ చేస్తుంది, విమెన్ బాసెస్ ఆర్ బ్యాడ్. అంటే కొన్ని కండిషన్డ్ ఒపీనియన్స్ ఉన్నాయి విమెన్ మీద ఫర్ ఏజెస్. So what according to you should be women? Ante women like?
I'll say in psychotherapy, there is a particular method which is called cutting the ties that bind. It helps you to cut ties with everything in life which holds you back, which does not allow you to be free and happy.
Oh.
That means it could be your relationships, it could be the traumas in your life, it could be your own beliefs, it could be your own habits. Now, beliefs ante enti. For example, I'm a mother and all my life I'm going to be a mother, and all my life, even if my son is 50 years old, I have to take care of him. It's a belief.
Right.
It's a belief in your role. Your role as a mother is over. The moment your son has left the house at the age of 21 and has gone for a job or for marriage, your role as a mother is over. Yes, you will care for him always, but your role is over.
Yeah.
So, we learned in psychotherapy that you need to understand the roles you've played in your life and free yourself of these roles. When you ask me that what should a woman be like, a woman should be whatever she wants to be.
మనకి అంటే మన ధర్మంలో అగైన్ మన స్పిరిచువల్ బుక్స్ లో మనకి ఏం చెప్పారంటే ఒక మగవాడి పర్స్పెక్టివ్ లో కొన్ని చెప్పారు. బాల్యం, కౌమార్యం, వానప్రస్థం అండ్ దెన్ సన్యాసం. అది మహిళలకు చెప్పలేదు. మహిళలకి మాత్రం ఓన్లీ కాపురం ఇదొక్కటే చెప్పారంటే నువ్వు పెళ్లి చేసుకో, పిల్లల్ని గాను ఇంకా డెడికేట్ చేయి, నీ లైఫ్ అంతా డెడికేట్ చేయి.
సో యాజ్ యూ అండర్స్టాండ్ ఆల్ దీస్ ట్రెడిషనల్ వేస్ ఆఫ్ థింకింగ్ నో లాంగర్ వర్క్. And as I said, if a woman wants to be a
mother, if any woman says that they no longer work, then the woman is labeled as a rebel or a revolutionary or someone who doesn't follow ethics, values, morals. So ivanni, that's what I'm saying. Ante oka conditioning ni etla break cheyali?
No, all this conditioning, all this labeling, everything can be handled when you work on yourself. And you have to work on yourself. As I said, there are so many methods by which you can work on yourself. Free yourself of this impact of this conditioning. Free yourself of all the conditioning which your parents and relatives and school has, instilled in you. And that can be done. Because that's what we teach people. In psychotherapy, that's what we teach people. Okay. As I said, roles are the most limiting. When you're told that you have to play the role of a mother for the rest of your life, or a kapuram, as you said, you have to play the role of a householder for the rest of your life. It doesn't work that way. All of us are free souls. These roles are imposed on you by society.
Yeah.
It's up to you how much you want to follow that, and follow only that which gives you happiness. Only that which makes you free. Okay. Anything which holds you, limits you and binds you, please get rid of that. That's all I can say. So as I said, a woman can be whatever she wants to be, and whatever she wants to be. She wants to be a wife, absolutely fine, no issue, as long as she's happy.
Yeah.
If the marriage doesn't give her happiness, then she has to decide what she wants. And similarly, as a mother, there are many mothers I've seen who have been treated very badly by their children.
Yeah.
And whether it's a son or a daughter, and it's like she's invisible at home. Her only task is to serve everybody, but she's invisible at home. So does that give her happiness?
Right.
Please do only that which makes you happy. Free yourself of all conditioning, of all roles, because you are free. As a soul, as a being, you are free. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's your own belief. Like many women believe that, why me? ఇది నాతోనే ఎందుకు జరుగుతుంది, ప్రతిసారి నేనే ఎందుకు ఈ సిచ్యువేషన్ ఫేస్ చేస్తున్నాను. దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ప్లేయింగ్ ద రోల్ ఆఫ్ అ విక్టిమ్. సో వెన్ యూ గెట్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ దట్ రోల్, then you're absolutely free again. So the idea of self-awareness is, the more self-aware you are, the more aware you become of the roles you're playing, the more aware you become of the beliefs by which you have been leading your entire life. And all you need to do is drop the belief. Recognize and drop it. And then you're free.
But ఇలాంటివి అట్లీస్ట్ ఒక చదువుకున్న సొసైటీలో, కొంచెం వెల్ ఆఫ్ ఉన్న సొసైటీ, లేకపోతే కొంచెం అవేర్గా ఉన్న కొంతమంది మహిళలకి సాధ్యపడుతుంది. What about the rural India? What about the women who are not educated?
No.
What about the women who are so dependent on...
So many women we share, this psychotherapy with, come to hospitals, for example. We work with some hospitals at times where they come from very rural areas, who have come for a surgery of the husband or, surgery of somebody else. This work is not limited to literate and educated women. It's so easy because this psychotherapy methods work with symbols.
Okay.
It doesn't work with words or meditation and teaching meditation, nothing like that. It works with pictures and symbols. So it's so easy for anyone to pick it up. In fact, a 5-year-old kid picks it up. So we do this even for children. Our POXO victims whom we are teaching these psychotherapy methods, some of them are hardly 5 years old.
So is this material available online? అంటే ఆన్లైన్ ఎక్కడ ఉందా?
No, it is
to
because
anyone to just see,
no,
understand
because you have to be trained in that. That's why certain trainings are conducted by certain groups. So one has to be trained in practicing it on oneself first, and then if one is interested in becoming a facilitator, then one can do that.
బట్ ఇట్లాంటి ఒకటి ఉన్నాయి అని ఎలా తెలుస్తుంది జనాలకి? How do they come to know that there are certain
this we're
things
doing
like
only by
psychometric
word
tests?
of mouth?
Okay.
Yeah, because practicing oneself is very see, we practiced for many years on ourselves, changed our lives first before we started sharing it with others, because we realized that it was a very powerful method.
Okay.
So it's possible only then. So it can be done only by word of mouth. We can't advertise it in papers and all. And see, many people come to you to heal a scratch or a wound, and some people come to you because they want to get onto that journey of self-awareness.
Okay.
So some people are very happy if you help them heal just one trauma and then they go back. That's fine. But some people want to go very deep within.
Yeah.
So the method is open to both.
సో మీ లైఫ్ అండ్ కెరియర్లో ఎప్పుడైనా మీ తోటి మహిళల్ని కానీ, అంటే మీ కలీగ్స్ అవ్వచ్చు, మీ సబార్డినేట్స్ అవ్వచ్చు, మీ సీనియర్స్ అవ్వచ్చు, మెన్ అండ్ విమెన్ ఎవరైనా సరే, కెన్ యూ షేర్ సమ్ అనెక్డోట్స్ వేర్ యూ క్రియేటెడ్ అన్ ఇంపాక్ట్? అంటే వే దే కేమ్ అండ్ షేర్డ్, ఎవరైతే మీ దగ్గరకు వచ్చి, చారు you've done something remarkable in my life and I'm really thankful that you changed my perspective.
Yeah. There was one senior officer who was heading the force, and he had serious issues at home. When we shared this method with him, the suffocation which he was feeling at home, he was able to get rid of that. And that was very nice, because he told me that very clearly that I didn't know that such kind of a method even existed, and I could actually get rid of this suffocation. So that was very nice. And with colleagues, a large number of my friends, when we share this method with them, I've seen people go on to the brink, to the edge of the cliff, and with the help of this method, turn their whole life around.
Really?
There was one lady whose son had died in a freak accident, 19 years old, 3 engineering students who went for a swim, and he got swept away. And the other 2 boys survived, and he was the only son. And when she came to me, it had been 1 year since his death, but she and her husband were totally shattered. They had no one at home, no other child. When she came to me, she was in a very bad state. When I shared this work with her and she came back to me after 3 weeks of that exercise, she said, "Thank you so much. I still love my son, but the pain has gone."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Another girl, she was a BHAROSA victim. She was brought to me at the age of 14. She had been sexually abused by her stepfather and his brother for 5 years, from the age of 9 to 14. And when she was brought to me, she was having nightmares, she was bedwetting, and the BHAROSA counselors wanted to understand how to deal with her, because regular counseling doesn't help. You can't tell the child, okay, jo hua hai wo bhul jao, ab aage badho. You can't tell a 14-year-old kid that. She was in a very bad state, and she was dead to touch. When I was telling her, beta kya hua, come here, trying to hold her hand, she was just like this. I mean, she's scared of somebody touching her. She was in a very bad state. And after hand-holding her with the help of this method, when her bedwetting stopped, nightmares stopped, today she's preparing for her chartered accountant exam.
Wow, that's so amazing.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Charu, when such things happen?
I feel
How
grateful.
gratifying is it?
I feel grateful for this opportunity that I have got in this lifetime to be able to serve fellow human beings in need who are undergoing such severe trauma. I'm grateful for this job, for this opportunity.
మీరు అసలు పోలీస్ అన్న పదాన్ని పర్స్పెక్టివే మార్చేశారు. అంటే నేను అన్నది ఒక ఒపీనియన్స్ ఫామ్ అయితే కదా కొన్నిటి మీద. జనరల్గా ఏంటంటే యాక్టివిస్టులు, సోషల్ యాక్టివిస్టులు, ఎన్జిఓలు, లేకపోతే ఇలా సర్వీస్లో ఉన్నవాళ్ళు ఇలా ఉంటారు, అంటే ఇంత ఎంపతీతో ఉంటారు, జనాల్ని మోటివేట్ చేస్తారు, వాళ్ళ ఆలోచన విధానాన్ని ఒక గాడిలో పెడతారు అని వింటాం జనరల్గా. పోలీస్ ఫోర్స్లో ఉంటూ ఇలాంటివి చేయొచ్చు, స్ట్రాటజిక్గా చాలా మార్పులు తీసుకురావచ్చు అని నిరూపించడం చాలా.
Because I think all the bureaucrats are agents of change. Change, I find with my experience in the services, change does not come just from society. I mean, if there's certain people in a village, they just can't bring about the change themselves. I've seen wonderful work being done on the ground by NGOs, by some foundations in a particular village or a group of villages. Wonderful work is being done on the ground, which is so encouraging and inspiring for us also. In fact, I've learned a lot from all these domain experts. But certain decisions which need to be taken by the government to push that change can come only from the bureaucrats and the political setup.
Yeah.
So, as I said, I'm grateful for that opportunity to be able to bring about that change.
Thank you so much, Charu. Before we end, way forward. So what is it like? Because you're almost reaching towards the end of your retirement in another 3 years?
4 years.
4 years. So any plans post 4 years? What I have to do? What am I supposed to do?
No, nothing.
What is your plan?
I'm taking one day at a
This
time.
4 years.
I'm just taking one day at a time. Every day, whatever opportunity comes, I work on that.
Okay.
So the way forward is whatever task is given to me now to do that as sincerely as I can.
ఇంత పవర్ఫుల్ స్ట్రాంగ్ ఆఫీసర్ ఎప్పుడైనా ఏడ్చిందా వైల్ ఆన్ డ్యూటీ? డిడ్ యూ ఎవర్ క్రై, టియర్ అప్?
Yes, of course. Of course. Particularly when you see the pain of victims, when you see a 4-year-old or a 6-year-old having been raped and not understanding what has happened, when you see a 14-year-old scarred for life, and she's not able to make sense of the world because after her stepfather rapes her, her mother dumps her.
Sure.
So she's lost both parents. And now she's navigating through this entire world and trying to make sense through this world on her own. And that's when you just don't know what more you can do for them.
సో వాట్ ఈస్ రియల్ స్ట్రెంగ్త్? వాట్ ఈస్ పవర్ అకార్డింగ్ టు యూ? విమెన్ పవర్ అంటారు, సూపర్ ఉమెన్ అంటారు. ఒక్కోసారి దీస్ ఆర్ ద వర్డ్స్, కాయినేజ్డ్ వర్డ్స్ అనమాట. సో వాట్ డూ యూ థింక్? వాట్ ఈస్ యువర్ ఒపీనియన్?
For me, my power is my ability to watch my ego, my accountability to myself.
Okay.
That's how I would like to frame it. Whatever positions come to us, I'm not talking about power in terms of the position and the rules and what power it gives you over people or over subordinates. I'm not talking. I'm talking about my power as a woman. So as I said, it comes from my ability to watch my ego, my self-awareness, my accountability to myself. Where do I draw the line for myself?
Okay.
There was I'll just end maybe with a small story. It's called The Ring of Gyges by Plato. Plato had written this story centuries ago. And the story goes that there was a farmer, and this farmer was plowing his field, and in his field he finds a ring. Now he just looks at the ring and wonders what the ring is about, but anyway he wears it. But the moment he turns the ring, he becomes invisible. Now he's amazed at this newfound power, the power of being invisible. So, how does he use this power of being invisible? Invisible means being able to get away with whatever you want to get away with, right? So, how does he use this power? He first goes to the village. He starts eavesdropping on people's conversations. He enjoys walking into people's houses without being noticed. Then once in a while he goes and hits somebody, and that person is wondering who hit me. And so he enjoys and laughs at, that situation. Then he goes a little further, and he finds that nobody is able to check him. He's able to get away with everything. So then he actually goes to the king's palace. Nobody can see him. So he kills the king. He goes and plunders his treasury. And he takes away his wife. Now the question here, all of us as leaders, whom are we accountable to?
Yeah.
In the final analysis, whom are we accountable to? To our own conscience? To someone up there we may or may not believe in? And where is the line that we draw, the Lakshman Rekha?
Yeah.
We draw for ourselves that idi nen datanu. And so for me, this sense of accountability, this self-awareness, this watching the ego, this is where my power comes from.
Thank you so much, Charu. It was a wonderful conversation. It is a combination of everything, like, women strength, women inner strength, and what they need to show to the world, what they need to tell to themselves. ఇవన్నీ చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. We had a wonderful conversation and hope this will motivate, inspire a lot of women out there.
Thank you so much. I hope so too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Charu Sinha, ADG CID, ADG Women's Safety Wing, and DG ACB. And this is for the Jayathi series by Prema the journalist. Today, you will hear me talking about various issues ranging from women's safety, ranging from leadership, ranging from all the different experiences that I've had in the field in the last 30 years of my service. Whether it's a law and order problem, whether it's a 5-year-old facing a particular situation, whether it is a BHAROSA center, whether it is the SHE teams, whether it is a challenge faced by a woman bureaucrat, by a single woman navigating through the system. Thank you.